Okay, today we're going to learn about simplifying fractions. The first step is to understand what is a fraction. And the next thing we're going to learn is how do we know if two fractions are the same. So here I've used information from a different place to explain what a fraction is. So let's use a ruler to understand what a fraction is. So I'm going to draw a line. Try to keep it as straight as I can, but you can see it's not that straight, but that's okay. And I'm going to call this as 0. Okay. I'm going to call this as 1. This is 2. And of course, if there is space, this can go on to 3, etc. Okay. Now, the most important rule, okay, is all the fractions live in this area between 0 and 1. All fractions. Okay. All right. So now let's imagine another analogy. And so what I'm going to call is I'm going to call 0 to be Cupertino. Okay. And 1 to be San Francisco. All right. Okay. So now, I'm going to erase this. We don't need that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are driving from Cupertino to San Francisco, and we've decided to stop at two places, and they're all at the same distance from each other. So again, I'll try to draw as equal as we can. So we decided to stop in place. This is place number 1, place number 2. Okay. Let me just call it here 1 and 2, okay, in a small font. Okay, in fact, you know what, I'm going to use a different color so you're not confused. Okay, I'm going to use a blue. 1 and 2, if you can see that. Okay, so now what do we have here? So we said that the fractions are between 0 and 1. There are 3 equal parts, right? Let's call them A, B, and C. There are 3 parts, okay, and this part here is 1, this part is 2. So let's give a name to this. So there are 3 parts. Okay, in fact, I'm going to change it one more time. Instead of calling it ABC, there are 3 parts. Okay, so I'm going to actually call them part 1, part 2, and part 3. Okay, so how would we name this? How would we name that? I'm going to call it 1, that 1 here, right, upon or divided by how many parts there are. So 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to call it 1 upon 3. Okay. This part is the second city that we are staying in. There are 3 equal parts, so I'm going to call that 2 upon 3. Okay. So now we have, starting with 0, all right, we're going to 1 upon 3, then we have 2 upon 3 here, and then we reach 1. Okay, so now I'm going to try to keep the same scale. Okay, so I'm going to call this 1, call this 0, and call this 2. Okay, now instead of 3 parts, okay, or instead of 2 cities, I'm going to divide it into 6 parts or 5 cities. Okay, so I'm going to say, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, roughly the same if you look at it. Okay, so now let's again name it similarly like what we did here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I'm going to call the parts. How many parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now what do I mean by a part? Again, just so you understand, let's use this color here. Let's use a nice color. Let's use a rainbow color here. Actually, let's use that. That's fine. Okay. So when I say part, I mean this area. Okay, that's one part. So that's this guy. Okay. Similarly, if I draw that, that is 3 here. Okay. Oops. Sorry, let me erase it. I'll do a good job here. Okay. Okay. Got it. So now let's name the different cities again. Remember, this is Cupertino, 0 is Cupertino, 1 is San Francisco. I'm traveling from here. I'm stopping at these 5 cities. So this, if I name that, it's going to be 1 upon 6. Okay, this part here. All right, and if I draw that, that becomes 2 upon 6. That becomes 3 upon 6. This becomes 4 upon 6. This becomes 5 upon 6. And that's 1. Now, if you notice, let's look at this point, which is 2 upon 6, like what we did. And let's look at this. I'm going to draw a line here now. And look at that. That is the same distance. If I'm leaving from Cupertino to San Francisco, right, this distance is the same. So what does this mean? This means that these 2 points are basically the same point. So here we call this point 1 upon 3, and here we call this point 2 upon 6. They are the same. And that's why in this case 1 upon 3 is the same as 2 upon 6. Okay, let me put a square here. I hope that was clear. Again, we can see one more example if possible in the next video, and after that we're also going to find out how we can simplify a fraction into its simplest form. Thank you.